Shalom Bracha, good morning. Good morning, a Boker Tov and a Shavua Tov, a Ketavacha, Gezin Tavach to one and all. So let's turn, if you will, with Siyata Nishmaya to the hallowed pages of Parshas Truma. And of course, we're dealing with the building of the Mishkan, Ma'asuli Mikdash, Shechati Besocham, and all the clay sharis, the clay Mikdash contained therein. And of course, the highlight, the centerpiece of the entire grand edifice called the Tabernacle, the Heilige Mishkan, is of course the Aron that contained the Luchos and the Shivrei Luchos, Menachos Be'aron. So with regards to the Aron, the Torah Kadosh shares with us the following. You have to place two badim, two poles, by the sides of the Aron. And you read the pasuk. What's the tachlis, the purpose of the badei ha'aron? Allah says Aron bahem, in order to carry the Aron using the badim, the poles aligning the sides of the Aron. Continues the Torah pasuk tesvav perchafei abetabos Aron yu abadim alo yasuru mimenu. And those rings of the Aron itself, that's where you're going to place the badim. Alo yasur meni, you're not allowed to remove them. Right? Rashi, based on the Gemara Yumai and Beis and Aleph. Alo yasur mimenu li olam. You're never allowed to remove them. Right? So the Sisei Chamim, because if it already told us at the beginning of the posting, Mitavos Aron yu abadim, they're supposed to be there. What do you have to write to lo yasur mimenu? If they got to be there, they got to be there. What's lo yasur? What's the extra emphasis? Lo yasur mimenu. You can never take them away. Even b'shas chanoya, even when you're encamped, even when you're not traveling and you don't need the poles in order to carry the Aron itself, even then, you're never allowed to remove the poles of the Aron itself. It's brought down by the Rambam. Hilchos Klei Mikdash per Beis Halacha Yid Gimel Halacha L'Maisa Avadi. You are never allowed to remove the Badei Ha'aron. And the Or Chaim HaKadosh is bothered why the mention of the word Mimenu. What's to do from there? Lo Yasuri. What's Lo Yasuri? Mimenu Ayin Or Chaim HaKadosh. So it's interesting. You had the Badem by the Mizbech to carry the Mizbech. You had the Badem by the Shulchan. Hakayadua, Hakamuvan to carry the Shulchan. And here you have the Badem of the Aron, the Chayra what? Allah says Aron Mahem, in order to carry the Aron. And yet, only with regards to the Aron do we encounter prohibition. Allah Velosa say that you're never allowed, you're never allowed to remove the Badim. So what's the reason? Why is the Aron singled out? That these Badim, the poles that were used to carry the Aron pashtus, they were never allowed to be removed. So let's start with the Rishonim. Let's go to the Balei Ataisus. Of Nort Alamokum and the Das Kenem Balei Ataisus. Right, the Balei Atzosos. Lo Yasur Menum Kedushas Aron, the sanctity of the intrinsic holiness of the Aron itself. Hashem says, I don't want you using and being metapel, being memashmesh too much with the badim. Every time you're going to go ahead and encamp, then you're going to take out the badim, and then when you're going to carry, you're going to put. You have to know this is what the centerpiece of Ema Yira Pach. Resus and Zeya, Yiras Shamayim, Yiras Elokim. I don't want you to go out and always be metapa with the Aron, putting on the bottom and taking out the bottom. When it comes time to carry the Aron, then what are you going to do? It's already set. It's always set for you to go. You don't need to adjust anything. You don't need to set the poles in place. It's Muchan and Mezumah to be carried. You just reach out and you touch the ends of the poles. You carry the Aron. Also, and now when you place it down, Hashem says, you don't start being metapel. Let's undo the latch. Let's take out the bottom. We're going to place it. No. The second you place it down, you go right in your way. You put it down in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. That's it. And now you walk away. This is how you read the pasuk. Moshe is going to place them into the rings attached to the sides of the Aron. And then once they're placed there, then you never go ahead and remove them. So that's the Balei Ataisus. Hashem says, minimal contact with the source of all the Kedusha in the Mishkan and the subsequent Batei Mikdash. That's a Liba, the Rishon of the Balei Ataisus. There are many other reasons. Let's go to the two of the Meshech Chochmah, right? So Meir Simcha from the Vince, Agivaldik. He starts out first based on the Medrash and Shos Rabbi here in Parsha Lamedalet in those bays, that the Aron was a remes to Keser Torah. And what does Rosh Shimachai tell us in the Medrash? You have Gimel Ksarim Hey. You have the Keser Torah of the Aron. That's what? To be Malami, that's Kol Adam Zayche. Anyone in the world can be Zayche to Keser Torah. It's here for the taking. And what's the remes of the Badim of the Aron? That's a remes to what? Two, those who are Marzike HaTorah, the Tomchei HaTorah, the same way the bottom of the Aron support those who are learning the Talmidei Chachamim, so to the bottom of the Marzikim ba. Hey Masaimchem Yedei Talmidei Chachamim Shu Aron Leidas Hashem Tarosa. The Talmidei Chacham, he's the Chetza of Toraseinu HaKadosha. He's the one infused with the Liman HaTorah. But the Talmidei Chacham needs what? Eitz Chaim Ila Machzikim ba. He needs the Machzikim, the Tomchim, the financial supporters. The Yisachar needs the Zvulun. A Yisachar can't be complete without the Zvulun. The Chov Yom and Mishkan, they're going to be the ones being Mefanis. Their brethren, Yisachars, the Yisachar Chamagom, the Masmidim, Atzimim sitting and steiging. So, right, so Me'asicha for Nevitzka, Me'haroi, Shiutomid Osim Ba'aron Abris Lo Yasur Mimeno, to tell you what, at the end of the day, that is Badim Kvuim Otomid, that you can't have the Lomdei Torah without the Machzikei Torah. They're inseparable. They're Tzuluyin Behadodi. You can never take them away. Keser Torah. It comes to Mizbeach up. Parnasa is supporting. It's a separate thing. Shulchan. Again, Shulchan and Mizbeach. This is Parnasa. This is Gashmias. When it comes to the Ruchnias, the Talmidei Chacham is sitting and learning. The only way in Shaykh to make sure Yisachar maximizes his endless potential, he's got to be accompanied by Yizvul. And Achi Azariah Kayadua, famous to first in the end of the day, you can't have Shleimus and Torah without the Shleimus in the Machzikei HaTorah and the Tomchei HaTorah. The bottom have to always stay attached to the Aron, because the Torah needs its supporters with it 24/7, 365, no breaks for the Zvulans. In fact, David Feinstein Zatzal, I heard of art years ago, Gishmak. Fractor David Feinstein Zatzal. Here we are, Tol Shana, wasn't that long ago, we lost the Posei Gador in America, and Rav David said, Gavaldik Ha'ara, he says, we know Zvulun's there to support Yisachar, fact of David Feinstein, so why put Zvulun in such a precarious situation? Why send them into such a dangerous world of the turbulent sea, and the raging waters, Zvulun, the Chav Yom Mishkan? Why not make Zvulun, give him a lot of real estate, and let him sit behind a beautiful, large, wooden mahogany desk, with his Geshmak, a leather chair, natural leather, no synthetic. I let him sit there with the checkbook and take out the checks and let him write the checks. Let his life be a little easy when he supports a Yisachar. No, explain to David Feinstein. Then he's going to think, what? Oh, it's all me. I'm the Yikar and Yisachar. Oh, yeah, I'm the one helping him out. I explained to David Feinstein. Abishter says, Zvulun, you think you're the ones who are making this all happen? I'm going to send you out to the raging, turbulent waters of the sea. And when you're on the boat, you're on the ship, and it's going back and forth, and you got the tempestuous sea, and you have the raging waters, and you have the hurricanes, and the boats flying all over, and you don't know if you're going to make it back to the shore safely alive. You know what? What do? You scream at Abishter, please, save me, b'schus Yisachar. Save me, rescue me, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, b'schus, that I'm attached to Yisachar, who's sitting and learning and steiging. Hashem says, Zvulun, I'm not going to make it too easy for you, because then you're going to get all so comfortable and think that, Yisachar owes you all the Karsatov. You owe Yisachar the Karsatov. It's the two of you together. Both of you are Tzluyin Ba'adodi. Hashem says, explain to David Feinstein, go out to the waters and know the only way you're going to have a schus to be saved is because you're supporting your Messiah, your Machzik and your Taimech, the Lomdei Torah. Those are the Bnei Yisachar. Outcome of David Feinstein. So that's the first Mahalech, and Armeya Simchas Meshach Chachma. But then he says, Adas Hamuskol, he says, I'll give you another vart. Writes the Rambam in Hilchos Tamidin and Musafin. He writes in Perek Gimel the following. Rambam writes, Tzorch lahalik ha-neiros bo bayom. The neiros of the menorah, you have to light in the day. I says, what's going on about what I have to light in the day? Writes a Meir Simcha. The Gemara says in Shabbos, second Percha Beis on Beis, V'chila Ora Hutzarich. You don't need the light. So Mela, what's it for? It's an edus that the Shechina show Rabbi Yisrael. So writes a Meir Simcha. You know why you light it during the day? Because if you didn't light it during the day, then you might mistakenly, erroneously think when the lights of the menorah are kindled every single night, you might think, oh, really? It's for the Or. It's lighting up the Mishkan. It's lighting up the Beis Hamikdash. By lighting it during the day, Shroga B'tiyara Maya honey, the sugi at the beginning of Psachim. And you're going to say, wait a second, it can't be for the or, because if it's for the light, the one in the world is there's no need for illumination during the daylight hours. It's a Giloi Milsa, right? It's to reveal to one and all that it's not here for the or. It's here, Achbarak, to be the simon that the Shechina, show Rabbi Yisrael, the divine presence, is in proximity to the Jewish people. Mamela. On the heels of that, continues from Meir Simcha from the Vitz. Kaina Aron, what does the Gemara say in Sotalam and Hayam and Aleph? You might think you're carrying the Aron. No, Kasaka Daitach, you think you're carrying it. Kamash Malon, the Aron is no sayas no sav. The Aron was carrying you. So if you put the Badim when you traveled, like the Shochel, like the Mizbeach, right? So Meir Simcha, what a Gavaldik Ha'ara. Writes the Meshach Chochma, you might think it's here for traveling. It's here for traveling. The Aron, because the Aron needs me, the Mizbeach needs me to carry it, and the Shochel needs me to carry it. So if you're going to tell me take out the bottom of the Aron when you had Shas Chanoya, when you set up the camp, you might think what? That it's here because the Aron needs me to carry it. By making a separate law, a negative commandment in the Torah, lo yasurin, you can never remove the poles from the Aron, from the ark. That's going to highlight, explains Rameya Simcha, that'll be the Gilei Milsa, emphatically reinforcing that what's the purpose of the bottom? Not to carry the Aron. You know why? Because, my dear friends, Klal Yisrael, the Aron doesn't need you. Uzzah got punished. He reached out to rescue the Aron. Uzzah! The Haftarah, Parsha Shmini. Hashem doesn't need you. The Aron HaKadosh doesn't need you. But what? Therefore, keep the bottom there. You think the bottom are there to carry the Aron. The bottom are not there to carry the Aron. Because even when you don't need it to be carried, still you're not allowed to remove the bottom. And that's reinforcing that the bottom are not here because the Aron doesn't need you. You don't need to carry it. So why are the bottom? Gzeirus HaKosov? It must be what? When it's sitting in a moed, I don't need any bottom. That'll remind you when you're carrying it on the shoulder. Don't think it needs it. Does just like the Neris and the Eichel, the Dokim Talmud are always remaining kindled. So too this would be what? So what's the purpose of the bottom? For a Tom Kamas, a hidden reason by a Kodesh Baruch Hu, why we'd have the bottom, but it's to reinforce that it's not that the Aron needs you. Mela, it's not here for carrying ice, and then what would be the purpose of the bottom? So again, like the first Mahalach, the Meshech Chokmah, it's a remez to the Tomcha Torah, to the Machzikei HaTorah. Feiner Staiti, perhaps there's another idea going on over here. And that takes us to the famous vort of Rav Shamshon Fol Hirsch. We know Chazal tell us that why did you have Badei Ha'aron? The Badei Ha'aron would protrude from the curtain, dividing, separating the Kodesh and the Kodesh HaKadoshim. Kishnei Dadei Aisha. It would look mamish like a woman nursing her children. You would have the bottom protruding out. So what's the idea? Rabbi Yaakov Sofer, the Sefer Tzuf Devash. I was once on a train and he heard Maskila making fun of Shalom HaMelech and Sheashir and all the choice metaphors of the Chacham Mikadadim Shalom HaMelech. Why would he refer to the human anatomy and talk about different anatomical parts? Why would he go out and draw up such metaphors and such figurative allegories and the like? And he explained to these maskilim, the Machaber Tzitvash of Yaakov Sofer, because this is the best example, the same way. Why would Chazal tell us that the Shnei Badei Ha'aron, the two poles, would protrude from the curtain, the Pareiches, out from the Kodesh HaKadoshim into the Kodesh like the Shnei Dadei Ha'isha? And what would be the idea? Explains it to Dvash that yes, even though people might unfortunately conjure absurd imagery, Chazal are telling us this is the best mashal. The choice mashal is just like a mother nurses her newborn infant, and the entire nourishment of the newborn is derived achvarak from the milk that it gets from nursing from its mother. So too, the source of all the nourishment, all the spiritual nourishment, what's giving us chiyas? The same way the Maral writes in Der Chaim that all the miracles outlined by Chazal, Perkeos, Perkei Mishnei, all the 10 miracles that occurred in the Beis Hamikdash, they were all Noveah from what? From the Kedushas Kodesh HaKadoshim, from the Aron. The Aron by the Evan HaShasiyah was the centerpiece of the Mishkan of the Beis Hamikdash, of Yushalayim, indeed, my friends, the centerpiece of the world. And all in Yonei Kedusha came out from the Aron, the Kodesh HaKadoshim. So the symbolism explains of Hirsch, of the Shnei Badei Aron protruding, they were bolate from the Pareiches going out into the Kodesh, and the world could see that what? like the Shnei Dadi Aisha, so that Klal Yisrael would have a continuous reminder that all of our nourishment in the world comes from where? We're nursing from the Aron, from the Luchos and Shivrei Luchos, Menachos from the Phineas Taiti. That's a partial reason you don't even need to ask the Kasha. Why can I never remove the Badim? So like the Meshachach, with the Badim are out here for carrying, Mamela like the Menorah. So the Menorah Chazal address, Shabbos Chabeis, V'chil Oro Tzarech Ela, what's it for? It's a simon that the Shechina Shur Yisrael Gavaldik, and that's why you're going to light the menorah even during the course of the day. It's not here for the purpose of illumination. I see the Aron. The Badim, what do you put poles in? Haraya, look at the Mizbech, look at the Shulchan. The Badim are typically done to go in and carry something. Ella writes, Meir Simcha Gavaldik. No, by having it even when you're encamping, the Badim stay forever attached. That's a reminder. It's not here for carrying, because Sota Lam and Ham and Aleph, the Aron is no serious notice. It doesn't need you to carry it. Fakert, on the contrary, it's carrying you. Aisa beautiful, it's here. But sof kol sof. What are the bottom for? Fakert. You know why the bottom are here? So that they could continuously protrude from the parayches kishnei dodei haisha to remind Klal Yisrael. The Aron is not just to carry the Torah with you. It's not just to know the Torah is in your midst. It doesn't stop there. The Badei HaAron protruding from the Parayches, Keshnei Dodei Aisha, reminds us that all the nourishment we're yoinek, we're figuratively nursing from Kedushas HaTorah, from Liman HaTorah, all of the Torah in the end of the day, like Rameir Simcha's first Vard, the Tomchei HaTorah, the Masika HaTorah, Avada, it's Emes Lamidas HaTorah, Avada, the Tomchei HaTorah, you can't separate them. Iba Lamaisa, we didn't see that. What do we see though? More than anything, we see the mashal of the Shnei Badei Aron protruding a Shnei Dodei Isha to remind us continuously. Avada, like Rameir Simcha says, it's not because the Aron needs us. No, it's carrying. It's not just carrying us. The Aron would go ahead and carry us, and the Aron would give us all our nourishment. Not just carry us when we need to go on and continue the trek in the desert. The Aron was carrying us even b'shas our encampment. It was figuratively carrying us every step of the way. Without the Torah, without the Liman Torah, we wouldn't have a second of existence. Kayadua, 1 second without Liman Torah, the world would instantly cease to exist. Ayin the Holarichas Nefshachayim Shardalid Melav. How did the body Aron stay attached forever? Why? So we have a continuous 24/7, 365 reminder that all of our nursing, our nourishment, our spiritual sustenance comes Yomam V'Layla Ach V'Rak from Torah Seinu HaKadosha. The Badim stay forever attached. That's what's nursing Klal Yisrael, to have that mashal. All of our nourishment comes continuously. And the Torah from Liman HaTorah continue to steig. Let's get ready for Purim Hodor Kiblu of Me'ach HaShverosh. Have a Gavaldige day and a Geschmack the rest of the weekend.